When you think of the ultimate prehistoric predator, I bet your mind immediately goes to Tyrannosaurus rex, the pop culture icon, the 9-ton king of the dinosaurs. But here's a secret that Hollywood rarely tells you about. T-Rex was actually a latecomer to the party. Tyrannosaurus rex is the last of the Tyrannosaur dynasty, and walked the Earth a relatively short 2 million years right before the very end of the Cretaceous period. Long before the king ever took its first breath, North America was already a hyper-competitive battleground ruled by an entire family of diverse, bone-crushing tyrants. This was a true golden age of the Tyrannosaurids. Today, we are traveling back 75 million years to explore a world where 5 distinct, terrifying cousins ruled the continent simultaneously. We will look at the sleek northern speedsters, the heavyweight armored specialists, and the bizarre short-faced killers in the deep south. This is the story of the pre-Rex dynasty. Our journey begins in the north, in a warm subtropical paradise filled with vast rivers and dense forests. In this ecosystem, 2 massive predators share the crown, living side by side. They look incredibly similar, but they play completely different roles in the environment. Meet Albertosaurus and Gorgosaurus. Let's start with Albertosaurus. Stretching up to 30 feet long and weighing around 2 tons, this carnivore was built like an Olympic sprinter. It possessed long, slender leg bones and a lightweight, aerodynamic frame. Computer models suggest Albertosaurus could sprint at a blazing 30 miles per hour. But their speed wasn't their only weapon. At a famous fossil site known as the Dry Island Bone Bed in Alberta, Canada, paleontologists made a groundbreaking discovery. 22 individual Albertosaurus skeletons buried together in a single mass grave. This wasn't just a random pile of bones. It contained individuals of all different ages, from young juveniles to fully grown adults. This provides compelling evidence that Albertosaurus was a social creature that lived and likely hunted in strategic, coordinated packs. Imagine a pack of 30-foot-long, high-speed animals driving prey directly into an ambush. However, life at the top was brutal. By studying the microscopic growth rings inside their bones, scientists discovered that while juvenile Albertosaurus had a high survival rate, their lives became incredibly dangerous once they hit adulthood at around 15. The constant physical toll of pack hunting and fighting over territory meant that very few individuals ever lived past the age of 25 years old. Living right alongside them was Gorgosaurus. Thanks to dozens of incredibly complete skeletons uncovered in Canada, Gorgosaurus is one of the most thoroughly understood tyrannosaurs in the entire fossil record. On the outside, it looked almost identical to Albertosaurus, featuring the same sleek frame, but distinguished by bright circular bony bumps directly above its eyes. These crests may have been vividly colored, used to intimidate rivals and attract mates. Now you might be wondering, how could 2 massive 2-ton meat-eaters live in the same area at the same time without wiping each other out? The answer is a biological phenomenon called niche partitioning. To avoid deadly territorial wars, these predators targeted completely different menus. While other predators went after heavy armored targets, Gorgosaurus used its speed to specialize in hunting fast, unarmored, duck-billed dinosaurs, ensuring both species could thrive without constant conflict. While the speedsters dominated the open plains, a true heavyweight ruled the dense northern woods. This was Daspletosaurus, a name that literally translates to frightful lizard. Daspletosaurus was a completely different evolutionary design. It was slightly shorter than Albertosaurus, but it was packed with dense, compact muscles and featured a massive, robust skull. If Albertosaurus was a sleek sports car, then Daspletosaurus was an SUV. The skull of Daspletosaurus was built to withstand immense physical stress. It possessed the proportionally largest, thickest teeth of any known tyrannosaurid, even beating out the mighty T-Rex in relative tooth thickness. These teeth weren't just sharp knives for slicing flesh. They were thick, deeply rooted spikes designed for crushing solid bone. Biomechanics studies reveal that Daspletosaurus could slam its jaw shut with a devastating 5,000 pounds of force per square inch. This jaw strength allowed it to take out the dangerous, heavily armored prey that the sleek Albertosaurus completely avoided. Daspletosaurus was a specialist in hunting horned ceratopsians like Centrosaurus and Chasmosaurus, easily crunching right through their thick, bony neck frills. This evolutionary design was an absolute triumph. Daspletosaurus was so successful that it dominated the ecosystem for millions of years. In fact, recent fossil transitions show that Daspletosaurus directly evolved over time into a later, even more specialized species called Daspletosaurus horneri. This slow, direct transformation of one species into another without branching is a rare evolutionary process called anagenesis, proving that this frightful lizard was perfectly adapted to this world. But the story of late Cretaceous North America doesn't end in the north. Because a massive inland sea split the continent in half, the dinosaurs living on the western landmass of Laramidia were completely isolated from each other. While the Big Three ruled Canada and Montana, a completely different, highly bizarre cast of Tyrannosaurs were evolving in the hot southern regions of the continent. In the ancient floodplains of modern-day New Mexico, we find Bastahieversor, also known as the Bastahi Destroyer. Growing up to 30 feet long, this predator looked vastly different from its northern cousins. For starters, its mouth was packed with an astounding 64 teeth, allowing it to rip and tear through flesh with surgical efficiency. But its most incredible adaptations were hidden inside of its skeletal structure. Paleontologists scanning its skull found highly unusual, distinct openings right above its eyes. Scientists believe this opening housed a complex system of internal air sacs, which lightened the weight of the massive head without sacrificing any structural integrity or bite strength. Furthermore, its forehead featured a unique interlocking bone joint that acted as a built-in shock absorber. Whenever Bastahieversor slammed its jaw shut on a struggling victim, this specialized joint absorbed the violent physical impact, preventing the dinosaur from breaking its own skull during the hunt. Meanwhile, even further west in the isolated tropical swampy ecosystems of the Kaiparowitz Formation in modern-day Utah lived an entirely different southern rebel, Teratophonius, its terrifying name translating to monstrous murderer. Teratophonius completely threw out the traditional Tyrannosaur rulebook. Instead of the long, low, narrow snout seen on Albertosaurus and Gorgosaurus, this predator evolved a remarkably short, blunt, deep face. This short snout changed the entire mechanics of its bite, moving the jaw muscles closer to the front of the mouth and providing incredible physical leverage. To complement this unique shape, Teratophonius had fewer teeth than almost any other tyrannosaur, possessing just 12 teeth on each side of its upper jaw. But what it lacked in quantity, it made up for in quality. These teeth were exceptionally thick, blunt, and robust. Living in a swampy jungle alongside giant prehistoric crocodiles and massive turtles, Teratophonius used its unique, short, crocodilian-like face and spiked teeth to snap through ultra-tough hides and crush bones with ease. When we look at the incredible diversity of these 5 prehistoric predators, we start to see the true picture of the ancient world. Tyrannosaurus rex didn't just appear out of nowhere as a lone genetic miracle. It was the final, fine-tuned product of a highly successful, millions-year-old family empire. These forgotten tyrants ruled North America for millions of years, proving that the Tyrannosaur family tree was far larger, weirder, and more successful than Hollywood ever led us to believe.